What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade basketball analysis coming to y'all with a video this weekend. We're going to talk about Rondae Hollis Jefferson finally making it back to an NBA roster. We don't know how long he's going to be there. We don't know the role that he's going to play for the Blazers, but I was very happy for him signing his contract. Thought he could be a real big piece for them, and he ended up getting waived and been out of the league since. The Blazers are loading up on wings. Obviously, you lose Rodney Hood and Gary Trent Jr., two big pieces of the last 2 years of what this Blazer team has been about. To have a somewhat of an upgrade in Powell, and at the end of the day, you get one of those spots back by picking up Rondae. Isn't the shooter, isn't the floor spacer that those two guys was, but still give you length and versatility and size for a guy that can be switchable and can guard multiple positions, and you're just basically picking them up for nothing. Um, I do think Rondae has a lot left in the tank, if I had to be honest. I like Rondae, even though he's not a shooter or a floor spacer. This guy is a good rim protector. This guy comes in and does what you need him to do, and he knows his game and doesn't try to deviate from that. Obviously, when you see this team is really predicated on screens and the usage of CJ and Dame to create a lot of shots and open shots for a lot of this team, and they work real hard for their buckets. They take a lot of tough shots. They take a lot of contested shots, and you know a lot of it has to do with Nurkic not being out there with his screening ability, being so big, and allowing them to get first steps, allowing them to get their angles because of those screens and the space that they need to get off shots has really hurt their defense, but also their offense. And that's something that they have adjusted pretty well because they have been one of the better teams in the Western Conference this entire season. And that's not something that I'm surprised about because they have been that when healthy um, for years. Last year they wasn't as healthy. They still made the playoffs, but they had to struggle a little bit more compared to other years. But I will say Dame has been impressive, being absolutely outstanding, scoring a lot of points and carrying his team to the best of his ability. And he has done a fantastic job. He has lived up to the contract. He has lived up to that spot. But the Blazers are still in a situation where you look at this team on paper and you see a lot of guys' names and you see a lot of how these guys could fit in having Terry Stotts there. But this team is still not a championship team, and it still goes back to, is Dame and CJ enough? Can this duo get hot? Can this duo scorch the best duos and the best teams in the league? And I still don't see it. And even with Dame playing at an MVP type level the last 2 years, he hasn't really made this team elite as the number one option. And I think that that's something that I've been saying for years. Can Dame be your best player? Can he be the number one option on the championship team? And he has yet to show it. And it could be the way they built the team. It could just be him. It could just be CJ is not the best player with him if you want to win a title. Regardless of what the reason is, they're dangerous, they're fun, they're interesting, and they're a tough team. This is a team that really has been together for a long time, even with coaches, even with players, and they have maneuvered and changed and really try to go all in with this team this year. And they have hit a pinnacle where they have been pretty solid. I gotta give them credit. They have been a solid team. I don't think adding Rondae Hollis Jefferson is going to be a game changer. I don't think that he's going to come in and be a significant difference maker. But I do think that having another NBA caliber wing is something that's a luxury in this league. And this is something that a lot of people want and a lot of people are trying to get. And he's the best one to me available right now. And now he's off the market. So if I was the Blazers, I would keep him. Um, and I will use them because they're not desperate for any position right now because they're loaded on guards, they're loaded on wings to me, and this just gives them another one that they can use if an injury happens or they need to be able to switch on a couple minutes in the fourth quarter. And even though he's not the displacer, you don't really need him to be that on this team, as you have enough shooting already from the perimeter on this team. And he probably will play a forward position anyway, which you don't really need him to, shoot threes at that point because you have Dame, CJ, Powell, and those guys already. Even Carmelo can hit a three and create his own shot depending on where he is on the court. So to me, this is the deal that I thought he would already have signed one. I thought he would already been in the league by now. But you're trying to solidify your rotation. You're trying to solidify your players and your schemes at this point, and adding somebody that is a quality player, not just somebody you trying out, somebody that's random. I think is a strong move for a team like Portland, that they feel like if they're healthy, they're just as good as anybody, and that's how you should feel. At the end of the day, it's just about seeing how far can this team go. Will this team be in the first round exit? Will they be a second round exit? Can they get back to a conference finals? And to me, when I look at this team and I look at where they're at and what they've been about the last couple years now, what is next? What's the big thing can they do? What's the big trade can they make? Covington made, the Powell trade is made. They traded for Nurkic. They re-signed CJ and Dame, and they have been loyal to Terry Stotts, and they brought in Carmelo. They made the bench better. They got more wings that can space the floor and guard and switch multiple positions. What is they missing um, for this team to be a championship team? What can they do? And I think that's the question I will ask the Portland fans. What move and what type of player do this team really need to be a legitimate championship team in the Western Conference? What is it? Is it Nurkic just being healthy? Is it a player that I don't know about? Because I don't really see much now that they can really do to improve this roster, unless guys just play better than they have been playing, and that's it. I don't think Covington has been that bad this year. I think he's been pretty good. So I don't really see, when I look at this Portland team and how they have built it this year, outside of Nurkic not being healthy, I don't really see this team really being able to get more better than this year. And they have been impressive. They have been pretty consistent so far as a team, even with the injuries. And now it's kind of wondering, what can they do to get on the Clippers level? What can they do to get on the Lakers level to get out of the West? Because that has been something that Dame and CJ as a duo haven't been able to do so far. And they're in their 30s. The time is running. The time is, ticking and clicking, because they have games that's based off skill. So they're going to last, and they're going to be able to be around for a long time. But as a duo, they haven't even got to the finals. They haven't even won a game in the conference finals. And what more can they really do to make this roster better? When I look at this team, this is probably the best team as a collective that they have ever had, to me, outside of the team with LaMarcus. And then CJ wasn't the same CJ, because you had Wesley Matthews and those guys. So with the Dame and CJ roster, this is the best one. This is the most interesting one. This is the most versatile one, and this is the strongest one on both ends of the court. Um, to me, when fully healthy, and we'll just see what they're going to do as a team in the playoffs, and we can judge them by then. So I'm not going to say they're overrated. I'm not going to say they're underrated. I'm not going to say they're going to be out in the first or second round because they don't have Nurkic right now. But when he does come back, I really want to see how great and how good this team is. And hopefully he can come back before the playoffs start. But when he does, we do have to start looking at this duo as, is this really enough? With both of them playing at a career level and having the type of talent and role players around them that they have this year, what more can you do to get better? What player can you bring in to get better if you keep this duo together? And they love playing with each other. They respect each other. They ride for each other. And so do a lot of their teammates on this team. But it does come to a point in when are you going to deliver us a title? And this duo hasn't came close enough to doing that. And you have to wonder, can they get that done? And that's something that I still want to see them do. And that's something that I still want to see them achieve. It's great making the playoffs. It's great being respected. It's great being some of the best players and best teams in the league. But eventually, you do have to wonder, when is it time to be a champion? That's what it's all about, is to win the NBA Larry O'Brien trophy as a team, as a duo, as a player. And I'm wondering, what more can they do to enhance this duo and this team chances of getting it done, um, after I'm saying the roster that they have built this year. So call me crazy, call me whatever you feel, but all I want to know is, what more can they do, um, talent wise, to get this duo over the hump into championship contention? Because even when I look at this roster, even with Nurkic healthy, I still don't see them as a top three team, in this conference. And that's kind of crazy when you look at what they have done, and all the chips that they have pushed in this year. And if that's the case, it kind of make you wonder, what's really the point of keeping this duo together if they can't even get you to the NBA Finals? They can't even get you to a Game 7 of a conference finals. And it does make you wonder, what is the point of this at this point, of keeping them together? Other than that, I'm going to be the honest prick this today, but the Hoopers feel me, the players feel me, and at the end of the day, Portland fans got to realize that it's true. Dame and CJ has got you to a certain level, but now it's, what more can we do to get them to a title level? And that's something that I want to know the question. I mean, I want to know the answer to, and I kind of want to see what Neil O'Shea does, to be able to achieve that goal. Other than that, Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis, I'm gone, and I'll be back to y'all Sunday with another video.